All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Let's get
afternoon,
started.
Your Honor.
How are you? I was waiting for the recording to start. All right. This is the state all-purpose calendar in the state court of Fulton County, Georgia. I am Judge Melanie Williams, and today is December the 2nd of 2023. Have all members of the Public Defender's Office and defense attorneys had the opportunity to interview their clients?
Yes, Judge, thank you.
I have not, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Abden, do you need the assistance of the interpreter to
Yes,
interview
I
your
was just
client?
about to write it in the chat.
Is the what position needs interpretation?
4.
They are headed to courtroom number 3. Give them a moment so they can log on.
All right, thank you. Madam Interpreter, please state your name for the record.
My name is Anna Hovanik.
Ms. Hovanik, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that today you will make an accurate translation from English to Spanish, Spanish to English, to the best of your skills, knowledge, and ability?
I do.
All right, thank you. You'll be under oath for the entire proceeding. All right, all defendants, this particular calendar is for those individuals recently arrested, but the cases have been formally accused and bound over to state court. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney. This proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch this particular proceeding. All right, and who do we have first at courtroom 2?
Excuse me, Your Honor, before we get started, the reset date for your SAP calendar is December the 14th.
Thank you. I needed that and forgot. Those who receive a surety or cash bond will be reset to state all purpose on the 14th. Those who receive a signature bond, whether through pretrial or the jail, will be reset further notice. All right.
Position number 10, Ms. McSam.
Hey, Judge, before we start, can we go ahead and do a breakout session for the Spanish interpretation?
Yes. Miss Abden doesn't represent position 10, does she?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So if we could put Miss Abden, courtroom 1, and Miss Hovanik into a breakout, please, Miss Strong. Thank you. All right, are you Abby McSam?
Yes.
All right, your case is 23 CR 007648J. You're charged with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the third. Do you understand your rights today?
Not exactly. This is my first time in a situation like this.
All right, you have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney, and I'm conducting this proceeding such that it's being broadcast over the internet. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, wonderful. Mr. Howard?
I got a second arrest, 01 theft, level 1.
Okay. All right. Ms. Reiser, is this your case? Ms. Reiser, are you there? Okay. I'm sure
Yes,
she's
Judge.
coming.
I apologize.
That's okay. We
Yes,
lost
Judge.
you for a moment.
And this is Ms. McSam.
Yes.
All right. Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation as to this defendant's bond, she's charged with battery and family violence, cruelty to children in the third. The state would recommend a $2,000, excuse me, I would recommend a signature bond through pretrial on each count to have no further violent contact with Ayana Selvin, Anaiya, last name spelled Selvon. Stay away from 2121 Greenhouse Drive, Roswell, Georgia, to start the family violence intervention program, and have no further no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Your Honor, briefly as the facts, law enforcement responded to a domestic dispute between a mother and her daughter. The victim is the alleged, the daughter is the alleged victim. Officers met with the mom defendant and stated that they got into an argument and she admitted slapping the victim in her face and attempted to hit her a second time, which caused the victim to break her fingernail in the process. Officers did observe blood on the victim's hand from the broken fingernail. And this did happen in the presence of a younger brother, minor HB.
Okay. Before we begin, can I be placed in a breakout with Miss Reiser, Miss Armstrong, Miss McLeod, and of course Miss Bridgewater? I would say Miss Abden, but she's not here. Miss Strong, will you put us in that breakout, please?
Yes, ma'am, I'm doing it.
Okay, I'll make sure you heard me. Thank you.
Did you get it, Miss Holly?
Mm-mm. I'm still in the regular.
No, ma'am, I added you. It says you're not joined yet, though.
Okay, Miss Strong, will you please put Valerie's autopilot out of the Zoom conference? Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Miss Armstrong, you represent Miss McSam.
Yes, Judge, thank you. We
Before
would
you
welcome
begin, before you begin, 1 second.
Yes.
Is Anaya Selvin present and wishes to make a statement? Okay, I do not see Anaya Selvin present. Ms. Armstrong, I'm inclined to grant the signature bond through pretrial with the recommended stay away and no further violent contact,
Yes.
as recommended by the state, and a 1-day anger awareness course. Do you have any objection to that or anything additional you'd like to add to the record?
I only need to be heard on the stay away component
Okay.
of that because this is a home that is in Miss McSam's name. She pays the rent on that home, and at this point, the complaining witness, which is her daughter, she's 21. She's living elsewhere. So we would just ask that you not impose that component, or maybe stay away only if her daughter is in the home, just to make sure that the home isn't lost because my client can't pay rent there. She
Okay.
needs to live there.
I think a no further violent contact will take care of it, and
Okay.
I believe you can convey to Miss McSam the importance of having no further violent contact with her daughter.
Absolutely.
All right. At this time, defendant is going to receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. 2,000 count one, 1,000 count two. It'll be level one. She is to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And if I didn't say it already, she's going to take the 1-day anger awareness course. Is there anything additional?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you, Miss McSam. Who do we have next?
Position number 15, Atkins.
All right. And is this your client, Miss Armstrong?
It's my client, Your Honor.
Oh, Miss McLeod is not ready yet. Can we have another person, please?
Yes, ma'am. Let's do position number 8, Mr. Ives, Maurice.
There's none.
Okay. All right. Are you Maurice Imes? Oh, that one. I'm sorry. We can't do this one either. A breakout is requested. Can we take another position? I apologize.
Go back over there. Can we do Smith, Jacob Smith, number 12?
Okay, is that yours, Ms. Armstrong?
Yes, Judge, it is.
All right, we can do that one, yes. Mr. Smith, your case is 23 CR 00765 In that case, you're charged with failure to obey a stop sign, obstruction, driving while your license is suspended, fleeing and eluding, and reckless driving. Do you understand your rights? All right.
10th arrest. You got robbery, 2 counts on probation for that. 17 SC 154-626. 2022 probation violation, failure to appear. 2022 battery DV, simple assault, theft by taking, no low. 2021 simple battery conviction. And 2019 FTA level 3.
Also, Your Honor, this defendant has 2 cases, 12 and 13.
Oh, thank you. Okay. You are also here for 23 CR 00765 in which you're charged with battery and obstruction. And he's already indicated he understood. Ms. Reiser, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm going to start with the, I think it's position 12 with the traffic offenses, with including fleeing and eluding. So he has 5 offenses. The state would be recommending $1,000 surety bond on each for a total of a $5,000 surety bond, with the conditions of no driving unless permitted by DDS and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. Your Honor, APD officers were patrolling along Fair Street located in Atlanta. They observed the defendant's U-Haul box truck fail to stop at a stop sign before proceeding through a 4-way. Officers conducted a traffic stop. They approached on the driver's side and the passenger side. The defendant did have presented an ID card. Their driver's license was suspended. When the officers went to go detain the defendant, they were speaking through the driver's side window. They asked the defendant to turn off the ignition. However, he did, but then when he was asked to step out of the vehicle, he refused, started the engine back up, and pulled off in a reckless manner, accelerated full speed up the narrow residential street through a stop sign without stopping. They had his license or his ID card, so that's how they were still able to identify him and take out the respective warrants, Your Honor. Would you like me to continue to position 13 on the state's recommendation?
Yes, please.
Yes. As regards to position 13, he's charged with battery and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. We would ask for a $2,000 surety bond on that, with $1,000 on each charge, with the additional conditions of stay away from the Hooters at 209 Peachtree Street in Atlanta. No further contact with Amariah Wilson, AMARIAH Wilson, WILSON, to begin anger management classes and have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Briefly, the facts of the battery case. APD officers were dispatched to the Hooters location. They were flagged down by security, who pointed out the defendant was just beating up the victim, Miss Wilson. The defendant, when the officers went to go make contact with the defendant, he fled on foot. And the allegation is that he pushed her up against the wall as they were walking down the sidewalk near the Hooters. And the victim did sustain bruises to her neck, which were captured on body camera, Your Honor. And we would be asking, just given his history, I'm showing at least 2 FTAs and a probation violation and a prior 2021 conviction for simple battery.
All right. Ms. Wilson, are you present and wish to make a statement? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Armstrong?
Yes, Judge, thank you. My client, he works part-time at a fast food restaurant. He does earn money that he's contributing to the fund for his child that is on the way. He lives with his mom. He does hold himself out as having a lot of family support. We would welcome the opportunity for him to have an anger management class, maybe more than the one day. And he understands that it's not the best time to be around the complaining witness at this time. So he welcomes the stay away order for the battery charge. And for position 13, the defense is recommending or asking Your Honor to impose a bond no more than $500 on each charge. And then for the for position 12 with reckless, no more than $1,000 for the fleeing, no more than 1,000, and then signature bonds on the remaining 3 charges.
All right. All right, as to position 12, defendant is gonna receive a split bond. It will be 1,000 SOB through the jail for count 1, 1,000 surety for count 2, 1,000 SOB through the jail for count 3, 1,000 surety for count 4, and 1,000 surety for count 5. So he has to make bond on for $3,000. 2,000 of that is SOB through the jail. He is not to drive without a valid license or permit issued by the Georgia DDS. For position 13, defendant will receive a $1,500 surety bond, 1,000 on count 1, 500 on count 2. He's to have no contact with Miss Wilson and stay away from that location on Peachtree Street. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
No, Judge, thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Smith. That concludes your case. Who do we have next?
Number 11, Ray. Thank you, sir.
All right, good afternoon. We needed a breakout for that one. And Miss Abden's not back.
Okay, what about number 14? Is it a breakout for him too?
No, is that your case, Miss Armstrong?
It is. I'm ready. Thank you.
All right, we can do 14. Thank you.
Come on, hold on, I gotta think hard.
What's the defendant's name on position 14?
Silgum.
Okay.
All right, good afternoon. Are you Mr. Tilgum? All right, your case is 23 CR 007653E. In this case, you're charged with criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights? Is that a yes? We're gonna presume a yes.
Yeah,
Mr.
20
Howard,
total. Last arrest this year, trespass, obstruction. He got a 2022 trespass, shoplifting, 2020 battery, 2020 trespass, 2018 robbery, ag assault conviction, 2018 failure to appear, and some probation violations, 2017 failure to appear, and 2013 simple assault, DV conviction, level 3.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Riza?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation would be $1,000 surety bond with the conditions of stay away from the Piedmont House at 205 12th Street Northeast in Atlanta, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Law enforcement was dispatched to the incident location in reference to the defendant who would not leave. The defendant was previously given a criminal trespass warning from this property and refused to leave. The surety bond recommendations based on his criminal history, I'm showing, as Mr. Howard said, or pretrial said, 3 convictions for criminal trespass, and I'm showing at least 2 FTAs. So we would recommend the $1,000 surety bond on that.
All right, Ms. Armstrong?
Judge, we're asking for a signature bond. He's homeless and was looking for shelter at the time. Thank you.
All right. Has he spoken with the social worker, Ms. Armstrong?
He is not, and that's probably a good idea. Thank you for bringing that up. So we would.
Okay. What we're going to do is the defendant's going to receive a $6,000 signature bond through the jail with the requirement that he undergo a BHET prior to release. And upon release, he is to stay away from the Piedmont House. Absolutely stay away. and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. All right. Best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case.
Thank you.
Is Mrs. Cloud ready now?
Ms. McLeod, are you available, or do you still need another moment?
Your Honor, I can do it if I'm not on camera.
Okay, we can do Ms. McLeod.
I'll go back to number 15, Uplands.
All right, Mr. Upkins, your case is 23 CR 007654J. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
First arrest, level 1.
All right. Ms. Rising?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would be recommending a signature bond through pretrial with the conditions of a stay away from 464 Boulevard Northeast, apartment 514, to have no further contact with Philip Harshaw, to start FIP and or anger management classes, and have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Officers were dispatched to the incident location. They made contact with the defendant, who appeared to be intoxicated, and told the officers he wanted to fight somebody inside the apartment. They met with the victim, who, it's my understanding the relationship is they did reside together, uncle and nephew. And the victim advised that the defendant was drinking and started an argument and was punched in the right eye. The officers did observe the victim's right eye was swollen.
Okay. Is Mr. Harshaw present and wishes to make a statement? All right, hearing none, Ms. McLeod, I'm inclined to grant the signature bond through pretrial, require the 1-day anger awareness, and require the stay away and no contact, only because Mr. Harshaw is not here to make a statement. Do you have any objection, Ms. McLeod, or anything you'd like to add to the record?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. At this time, defendant will receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. He is to take the 1-day anger awareness course, have no contact with the alleged victim in this case, stay away from that location on Boulevard. He can return one time with law enforcement to get any items. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right.
Nothing from the state. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Hopkins. Okay, can we do the interpreter case?
That's position number 4.
All right, is Miss, everybody is back, correct? Ms.
Yes,
Robinette?
Your Honor.
All right. Let's begin. Good afternoon. Are you Felix Gomez Clavel? You're muted, Ms. Hovanek.
Buenas tardes, su nombre es Félix Gómez Chabel.
He's muted at courtroom 1. Can we unmute him?
Yes.
All right, your case is 23 CR 007641J.
Su número de caso es 23CR00764-1J.
In this case, you're charged with reckless stunt driving and reckless conduct.
Aquí en los casos se le acusa por marometas temerarias manejando y conducta escandalosa.
You have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Y también tiene el derecho de permanecer callado. Cualquier cosa que usted diga puede ser usado contra usted.
You have a right to an attorney, and Ms. Abden is here to represent you.
Usted tiene el derecho de tener un abogado y la abogada Abden está aquí para representarlo.
I'm conducting this hearing over the internet, and it's also being recorded.
Yo estoy haciendo esta audiencia por el internet y también se está grabando.
You understand your rights and how I'm conducting this proceeding today?
¿Usted entiende sus derechos y entiende cómo estamos conduciendo este procedimiento aquí hoy?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
Third arrest. Last arrest was 2021.
El último arresto fue en el 2021
Fleeing or attempt to elude police officer.
y por tratar de eludir a un oficial de policía, tratar de correr.
2020 driving without a valid license, level 1.
El 2020 por manejar sin licencia, nivel 1.
All right, thank you, Ms. Reiser.
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommending a $10,000 surety bond, $5,000 on each count with the following conditions.
Sí, estamos nosotros pidiendo una fianza de $10,000 de seguridad y luego la otra $5,000 cada una con ciertas condiciones.
To be placed on an ankle monitor, have a
Y,
20, sorry, go ahead, Madam Interpreter.
y ser puesto con un bracelete, un monitor en el tobillo
Have a 24-hour curfew,
y tener un toque de queda de 24 horas.
no driving unless a valid license or permitted by DDS,
Y no poder manejar a menos que tenga licencia válido y permitido por el Departamento de las Licencias.
no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Y no tener tampoco usar drogas y tener armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
Your Honor, this was the street racing case that occurred on August 20th, 2023.
Su señoría, este fue el caso donde estaban jugando carreras en los carros el 20 de agosto del 23.
Videos of this incident from social media and traffic cameras went viral at the intersection of Northside Drive and 17th Street.
Y que sí, habían muchos videos en las redes sociales que se hizo viral, que fue en las calles entre Northside y la calle 17.
The defendant and two other vehicles were at that intersection laying drag.
Y el acusado y otros 2 vehículos en esa intersección que estaban jugando, estaban haciendo carreras en los carros.
They illegally blocked the intersection and there were probably hundreds of people standing around observing, and the defendant's vehicle was caught laying drag and hit a pedestrian.
Y que ilegalmente bloquearon la intersección allí y que había como 100 personas de espectadores ahí viendo y que uno de los carros le pegó a un peatón.
Based on license plate readers, social media, and cameras, officers were able to determine the defendant was the driver of the vehicle.
Y que basado en los videos que obtuvieron los policías y la placa que se pudo ver, que el vehículo que le pegó al peatón fue el del acusado.
Given the egregious facts of this case, as well as his history,
Y dado lo mal que fue el caso y su historial de él, sus antecedentes de él,
the state would contend this bond as recommended is more than reasonable.
el Estado sostiene que la fianza que le hemos dado que es más que razonable.
Nothing further from the state at this time.
El Estado no tiene nada más en este momento.
All right, Ms. Acton.
Your Honor, the conditions the state is requesting are extreme. I do understand the allegations are concerning, but
Sí, señoría, yo sé que las condiciones de este caso son extremadamente,
but they are merely allegations at this time, Your Honor.
pero en este momento, su señoría, son solo alegaciones.
This is not an evidentiary hearing, and they are allegations, so I am asking Your Honor to treat them as such.
Su señoría, este no es una audiencia de presentar pruebas, así es que yo estoy pidiendo que lo trate como lo es.
As for the criminal history, it appears he does not have any prior convictions.
Y lo que se refiere a sus antecedentes penales, que se ve que no tiene condenas previas
or failures to appear.
o que no haya faltado a comparecer.
And the purpose of setting bond is to ensure that he returned to court and the public and the complaining witnesses are safe.
Y la razón de pedir una fianza es de asegurarse de que él va a venir a la corte y de asegurarse que los creyentes que estén también a salvo.
And as we've heard from pretrial, the recommendation is a level 1.
Y como escucharon en la conferencia antes del juicio, que es un nivel 1.
He is 22 years old.
Y él tiene 22 años de edad.
He's lived in Georgia for the past 4 years.
Él ha vivido en el estado de Georgia por los últimos 4 años.
And he lives with his parents in Georgia and has strong ties to the community.
Él vive con sus padres en Georgia y tiene vínculos fuertes en la comunidad.
He understands his obligation to return to court and is not a flight risk at this time.
Y él entiende su obligación de regresar al tribunal a responder a los cargos y que él no es un riesgo de que vaya a huir.
He graduated from high school and has been working.
Él se graduó de la high school y él ha estado trabajando.
But due to an unrelated, it was I guess a condition, a class he had to take. He's been in jail since the 28th of October.
Y debido a que a una clase que tenía que tomar, que está en la cárcel desde el 28 de octubre.
So he did lose that job, Your Honor, but he has another job lined up.
Su señoría, él perdió ese trabajo que tenía, pero él puede, si sale, él puede empezar a trabajar en otro trabajo.
And his family is financially dependent on him as well. So I'm asking Your Honor to take that into consideration.
Y la familia de él depende financieramente, así es que quiere su señoría que tome todo eso en consideración.
And he would agree to driving restrictions if they were necessary today, but I am objecting to the extreme conditions of a curfew and an ankle monitor that the state proposed.
Y yo estoy de acuerdo que sí, que se le den ciertas restricciones, pero veo también que le está dando extremadamente ciertas restricciones de toque de queda de 24 horas y de que él tenga un brazalete en el tobillo. Eso es
And if Your Honor
extremadamente.
and if Your Honor is not inclined to grant him a signature bond, I'm asking that bond be reduced. His family doesn't have the means to pay that high amount.
Y estoy pidiendo a su señoría que le dé una fianza de que él pueda firmar con su firma, o si no, rebajarle la cantidad que ya tiene, porque los padres, su familia y la familia de él no tiene manera de poder pagar esa cantidad.
And that is all. Thank you.
Y eso es todo, su señoría. Gracias.
All right, defendant will receive a $6,000 surety bond.
Okay, el acusado va a recibir una fianza de $6,000 que sea de seguridad.
It'll be $4,000 on count 1.
4,000 en cargo número 1.
$2,000 on count 2.
2,000 en el cargo 2.
He is to not drive without a valid license issued by the Georgia DVS.
Y que no puede él conducir si no tiene licencia de manejar del estado de Georgia, del Departamento de Motores y Vehículos.
And he's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Que no puede tampoco beber bebidas alcohólicas, consumir drogas o tener ningunas armas.
Is there anything additional?
¿Algo más adicional?
Nothing from defense. Thank you, Your Honor, and thank you, Madam Interpreter.
Thank you. Nada de la defensa.
All right, Madam Interpreter, will you please sound before you leave?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Will you sound for anyone else who might need your assistance
okay.
before you depart?
¿Alguien más que necesite la ayuda de un intérprete?
All right, hearing none, best of luck to you, Mr. Gomez, and thank you for your assistance today, Madam Interpreter.
You're welcome. Buena suerte, señor Gómez. Have a great weekend.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, who do we have next?
Have position number 9 and position 5, if you all want to do them together.
Position 9 and
5.
9 and 5. Okay. So who is sitting? This is Sean McNeary.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. McNeary, your case is 23 CR 007650E. You're charged with criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Howard.
First arrest, jail was a recommendation.
All right, Ms. Reiser. We can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry, Your Honor. We would be recommending a signature bond through pretrial with the conditions of no further contact with Nia Goolsby, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Your Honor, this was an incident that took place at 7031 Gables Lane in Sandy Springs. During a verbal altercation, the defendant damaged the bedroom wall and door and threw the victim's cell phone into the wall, leaving a hole in the wall and scratches on her cell phone case.
Okay. All right, Ms. McLeod, any objection to a signature bond and no contact with the cross defendant?
Your Honor, they are married, and from speaking with my client, he tells me that he would prefer no further violent contact, Your Honor, and this is what we would be asking for. They both live at this location together, and both names are on the lease.
Okay. Miss Abden, you represent the cross defendant. What is her position regarding contact in your opinion?
She would agree to a no further contact if necessary, but no further violent contact would be best, Your Honor.
Okay, that is her request at this time.
Yes.
She wishes to maintain contact with the cross defendant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Based upon the information before me, defendant will receive a $7,500 signature bond through the jail. He's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No.
Nothing further, Your Honor, and that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Ms. McLeod, you don't want to stay with us through the balance of the of the calendar? We really
I would love to, Your Honor, but
Not today.
Not today. Yes.
Is there anyone else that needed conflict? I just want to make sure before we let Ms. McLeod go. Okay. Thank you. Take care, Ms. McLeod. Have a great afternoon.
You too, Your Honor. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, and this is now position 5, Goolsby. Ms. Goolsby, your case is 23 CR 007644E. You're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, can I have the history, please?
Second arrest. It says a 2016 local ordinance should play a NOLO, level 1.
Okay, Ms. Reiser.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would recommend a signature bond through pretrial with the conditions. We would request no further contact. We understand prior defendant just got no further violent contact. And we would also recommend that the defendant begin the family violence intervention program. Your Honor, briefly, just this defendant is alleged to have struck the cross defendant in the eye, causing bleeding and a visible laceration observed by officers when a verbal dispute turned physical, Judge.
All right, Ms. Abden, in light of the information, I'm inclined to grant the SOB through pretrial, require the 1-day anger awareness course, and have no further violent contact with the cross defendant. Any objection?
We would prefer a signature bond through the jail, especially given the fact that the cross defendant received the same. She does firmly deny the allegations. She stated that she did not put her hands on him, and the injury was self-inflicted while he was throwing things around and punching the wall, Your Honor. So I am requesting a signature bond through the jail, and I do have additional bond argument if you're open to hearing it.
I don't mind if you put it on the record because you're not fully in agreement with the recommendation, because my inclination at this point is to send it through pretrial. So go ahead.
So she's 26 years old. She's lived in Georgia for 10 years. She does have strong ties to community. She like I said, would agree to no further violent contact. And that is all.
All right. Defendant will receive a $3,000 SOB through pretrial level 1. She's to take the 1-day anger awareness course and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no further violent contact with the cross defendant. Anything additional?
No,
Nothing
thank you, Your
from the
Honor.
state.
All right, best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
Position 1, Battle.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Battle. Your case is 23 CR 007647A. You're charged with simple assault and battery family violence. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
23 total. Last arrest was this year out of Bucks County. Possession of a controlled substance. Possession of marijuana. He got 3 probation violations in his history. 2 from 2017, 1 from 13. 2020 assault battery dismissed. 2020 failure to appear. 2012 trespass conviction. Jail was the recommendation.
Okay. All right, Ms. Reiser?
Yes, Your Honor. There are 2 charges here. The state will be asking for a $2,500 surety as to each charge for a total of $5,000 surety with the following conditions: no further contact with Jamie Rubinski. Last name is Rubinski, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, and to begin the family violence intervention program. Your Honor, on December 1st, officers responded to a domestic dispute. The victim relayed to the officers that they were driving in the car. The defendant was driving her, and a verbal argument ensued, and he put his hand or hands around her neck, leaving red marks. When they stopped at a Walgreens, she went in to report the incident, and the witness employee at the Walgreens called 911 and did notice the victim had red marks around her neck. And we did have contact, and I believe the victim may be on Zoom, but we did have contact with the victim, and she reported to our victim advocate that there is a history of DV, and reports that the defendant has been verbally and physically abusive to her in the past. So based on the facts, the history of DV and his criminal history, we recommend that surety bond, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Rubinski, if you'd like to make a statement, please turn on your camera and raise your right hand. You're not required to make a statement, but if you wish to do so, this is your opportunity. Okay, Ms. Abden?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 31 years old. He was born in Georgia, has lived here his whole life. He's a lot of family here in Georgia, so he does have strong ties to the community, as he has a valid Georgia address, and understands his obligation to return to court. He's not a flight risk at this time. He is gainfully employed, Your Honor. He works doing detailing, and he's been doing that for the past 9 years. He does have 5 minor children. They do not reside in the home with him, Your Honor, but he does have a familial and financial responsibility to those children. Since signature bond through the jail was the recommendation, I'm asking that Your Honor take that recommendation, and if Your Honor is not inclined, grant him a signature bond through pretrial. He firmly denies the allegations. He tells me that it was a verbal argument, and the allegations, he's just denying the allegations. I'm not going to go into the facts. And he would agree no further contact and a stay away from the Walgreens location if necessary.
All right. Defendant will receive a $3,000 surety bond, 1,000 count 1, 2,000 count 2. He's to have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim in this case. Stay away from wherever the victim resides, as well as that Walgreens. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And as a reminder, he'll be reset to state all purpose on the 14th of December, whereby bond can be revisited. Anything additional?
Nothing from the state judge.
Nothing from defense. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case. Who do we have next?
Number 3, Dennis.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Dennis. Your case is 23 CR 007642D. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence. You understand your right?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. Mr. Howard, may I please have Mr. Dennis's history?
8th adult arrest. 2023, he was arrested in Gwinnett. battery, that's open. On probation for burglary. Got a 2017 felony obstruction conviction, 2014 probation, another 2014 burglary conviction. Jail was a recommendation.
All right. Ms. Ryson?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommended amount for bond would be a $5,000 surety bond. No further contact with Shantae Hicks. Stay away from the Atlantic House Apartments at 1163 West Peachtree Street Northeast. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and to begin family violence intervention program. Your Honor, officers responded to that incident location and spoke with the victim, who was visibly upset and crying as she was speaking with the officers. She stated that her boyfriend, the defendant, had just beaten her up. Specifically, he got angry at her during a verbal argument, pinned her to the floor, and started hitting her head and torso with both of his hands. The officers did notice visible injuries on her. In Your Honor, given his history, he looks like he has a 2023 battery family violence that's open out of Gwinnett. And I'm also seeing a open reckless conduct in state court under 21 CR 002460E.
All right. Ms. Hicks, if you'd like to make a statement, please turn your camera on and unmute your screen. Raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm, Ms. Hicks, that the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. What would you like to tell me?
Just that this man is a manipulator. I'm severely traumatized. I'm really nervous right now from what I went through in that relationship. Even after that situation, he manipulated me again to allow him back into my life because I really, truly did love this man. And I brought him down to my home in Pittsburgh, PA, where he assaulted me again. And I had to call the police for the last time before he left and stole everything from me. He's stolen a total of $1,600 from my savings account and from my paycheck from my previous job. He's put his hands on me. He's caused.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the testimony. If she can just please confine it to whether she wants to have contact or not, and the facts of this particular matter before the court today.
All right, Ms. Hicks, please continue.
Okay. Yeah, no contact whatsoever. Don't want him to be able to contact my family as he's been harassing them as well.
Okay. Is there anything else you want me to know?
Not at this time.
All right. I appreciate you coming to court and making that statement, Ms. Hicks. All right. Ms. Abden, please proceed.
My client is 27 years old. He was born in Georgia, has lived here his whole life. He's gainfully employed. He works in construction. However, he does not know if he can go back to his job. The case that the state mentioned in Gwinnett, that is involving Ms. Hicks. That is my understanding. And so he's been in jail for 90 days. Due to that, he actually entered a plea where he is receiving 2 years of probation and also needs to complete a family violence intervention program within 6 months. And it's my understanding the case would be null pros. Now, I wasn't able to confirm this, but this is what he stated. And then after that happened, he was transferred here to deal with this warrant. And Your Honor, this alleged incident happened in 2022, so some time ago, and the complaining witness no longer lives in Georgia. And so I am requesting that Your Honor take that into consideration when setting bond today. And I am requesting a signature bond through the jail, as that was the recommendation. And if Your Honor is not inclined, then a signature bond through pretrial services. He has a fiance now. They're not in a relationship. And as I've stated, he does firmly deny the allegations.
All right. Defendant will receive a $2,000 surety bond. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from that location. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything additional?
Nothing from the defense. Thank you, Your
Nothing
Honor.
from the state.
All right. Best of luck to you that day. I know you want to say something. The best thing for you to do is to speak to Ms. Hicks. I'm sorry, Ms. Abden. Please don't speak to Ms. Hicks.
Yeah.
Please. If you have,
Mr. Dennis, the court made its ruling. So if you have any questions about the bond, you can call me after court, but I'm gonna advise you to exercise your right to remain silent.
all right. You still wish to say something? I think anything you say can be used against you. What is your question, Mr. Dennis?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I don't have, like, my fiance, like, she doesn't have the requirements to bond me out. So that's why I was just asking for, like, you know, a signature bond so I can get out before the holidays. My kids is coming to Georgia or whatever. So please, like, I think.
All right, I understand that, but the ruling will stand at this time. Miss Abden will speak with you later, all right? All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Number 6, Hickman.
All right, Mr. Hickman, your case is 23 CR 007643F. You're charged with possession of a pistol or a revolver by someone under 18. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard.
First arrest.
All right. Ms. Reiser.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would be asking for a $2,500 surety bond with a stay away from 2959 Forest Hills Drive, Hateville Apartments, to have a evening curfew and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Your Honor, on November 30th of 2023, officers responded to a 911 call at the incident location, which is in an apartment complex. And that 911 call and caller informed officers that the defendant was hiding a firearm at that location. The witness informed officers that the defendant was hiding a firearm in a crawl space in the back of the apartment complex prior to going into school right across the street. Officers were able to have a picture of the defendant, and he was in the picture, he was walking, carrying the firearm, and the officers took that picture to the school, and the principal was able to identify the defendant. It's my understanding the defendant does not reside at that apartment complex. Officers did recover the firearm in the cubbyhole crawl space, just like the witnesses directed the officers to where it would be.
All right, Ms. Abden.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 17 years old. I've secured a cosigner if necessary for a pretrial bond. He goes to school at Hank Aaron Academy. He's in 12th grade, Your Honor. And he does drop his little siblings off at school in the morning. I spoke with his sister. He tells me that, you know, he takes care of his family and he hasn't gotten in trouble. He does just really want to get out and go to school, and he would agree to any conditions necessary, but I am requesting Your Honor consider a pretrial signature bond with a cosigner, as this is his first arrest.
You said does he have an after school job as well, or just?
No, and he goes to school from 7 a.m. That's when he leaves, and it ends around 4:30. So if he can just have some time to get home for a curfew.
Okay, because I'm considering a curfew, and his children, the children he's walking to school have to be at school. He leaves the house at 7 with them, so he would still be able to get there.
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to clarify the curfew. All right. Against my better feeling, I'm going to give defendant a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. He is to be engaged in full-time school as a condition. He also is going to have a curfew from 7 p.m. to 6 in the morning. So that should give him time to get to school and home. Additionally, he's to have no weapons whatsoever, including the subject weapons. What's the name of the cosigner, Ms. Abden?
It is Brittany Lewis, but there's a middle name. Let me just I'll put in the chat right now.
Thank you. We'll put that in the chat.
And this is the mother?
Yes.
Okay, and he is to, of course, not have that weapon or any other weapons as a
And-
con-
Oh, sorry, Your Honor, I didn't mean to cut you off. What about the stay away from that apartment complex?
yes, he must stay away from the address on Forest Hills in Hapeville. All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Hickman. You're getting a second chance. Please show that you're worthy of it. All right.
I have an announcement.
Okay,
Position number 2, Ms. Carter, she made bond. Position number 7 will be a waiver. The last 2 I have are for the breakout.
the breakouts. All right. If we could go into a breakout, please.
Sorry, can I be added to the breakout, please?
Got you.
All right, we've discussed these matters in breakout. We can take whoever the jail wishes at this time.
11, Ray.
All right, I'm sorry, my people. Mr. Ray, your case is 23 CR 007649C. You're charged with theft by shoplifting. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have a history, please?
He got a theft by taking from this year. That's 23 CR 006724C. Level 2 is the recommendation.
Okay. Ms. Reiser?
Yes, Your Honor, the state would recommend a signature bond through pretrial and a stay away from the Sephora located at 3130 Avalon Boulevard in Alpharetta. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. And should a BHET be ordered, we would ask that that be done either prior to release or within a certain amount of time upon release. So whether that's 10 days, 2 days, just a certain amount of time on that. And just briefly, Your Honor, the defendant was at the incident location and stole a Chanel perfume and a spray gift set before exiting the store, bypassing all points of sale.
Okay. Ms. Armstrong?
Judge, we asked you impose the state's recommendation for the SOB pretrial.
Okay, you want to tell me about him as I think about that?
Yes, Judge. He is from the Atlanta area, and I believe I discussed everything that I could at this point in the breakout room. If you
Okay.
respectfully.
All right. Defendant will receive a $6,000 SOB through the jail against my better judgment. Please, sir, you must stay away from that location. And I strongly encourage the public defender's office to connect him with some resources. I will not require the BHCT at this time prior to release.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. And we are now going to Mr. Imes. Mr. Imes, your case is 23 CR 007646F. You're charged with 2 counts of obstruction and 1 count of possession. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
17 total. I got a 2020. Okay. Sale of marijuana, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, a felony first offender. He's on probation for all of that. It's 20 SC 177180. 2018 probation, 2016 failure to appear, 2015 terroristic threats conviction, 2011 battery NOLO. This was level 3.
Okay. All right, Ms. Reiser.
Yes, Judge, the state's recommendation will be a signature bond through pretrial, stay away from the 70 Hamilton E. Holmes MARTA station, no alcohol, drugs, weapons while out on bond. The defendant was at that location. Officers observed the defendant smoking what was suspected marijuana out of a brown wrap at the bus loop. The officers approached the defendant and asked him to put out what he was smoking. The defendant didn't do so, and the officers attempted to detain him, and he jerked away from the officers 10-step and pulled away and did not listen to verbal commands. And just what we talked about in the breakout, Your Honor, should the court order a BHET, we would ask that that be done prior to release and or a condition within, a certain amount of time after release.
All right. Ms. Armstrong, in light of the information before me, I'm inclined to give the defendant an SOB through the jail and require or request that your office connect him with some resources. Is there any objection?
No, Judge, thank you.
All right. Defendant will receive a $6,000 SOB through the jail, $2,000 on each count. He's to have absolutely no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. And did the state request to stay away?
We did, Your Honor.
All right. Does he have any active suspensions?
Not that I see in our documents.
Okay. What I'll say is he's just to comply with any active suspensions he may have. That is a MARTA station, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. So he'll just comply with whatever MARTA has decided. All right. Best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case. Let's now take up the waived position. I believe that's position 7. Latoya Hutchins, 23 CR 007645C. And courtroom 2 can be excused. Take care. Have a good rest of your weekend. In this case, Ms. Hutchins is charged with giving false name or other information. Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
Yeah, 2022 suspended license, 2020 theft by taking, 2017 failure to identify self, that was out of state, 2016 petty larceny conviction, and 2012 possession of ammunition by a convicted felon conviction. This was level 3.
Okay. Ms. Ryson?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would be recommending $1,000 surety bond on this matter with the condition of no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Your Honor, officers were called out to 7420 Oakley Road in Union City, the Western Inn and Suites, in regards to an unconscious male in a room. During the investigation on scene, it was determined that that unresponsive male later passed away. And was confirmed DOA. And when they made contact with the defendant, who was initially a friend of the victim, was there hanging out with him, left and went to the Waffle House, came back, and she found him unresponsive. The officers were asking what her name was, and she gave a false name. Officers had to use a fingerprint scanner to obtain her legal name. It's my understanding that there were out-of-state charges. And so given the fact of her history and that there are out-of-state charges out of Virginia, we would ask for that signature bond. I mean, that surety bond. I apologize.
All right, Ms. Abden?
Your Honor, I spoke with my client about this. She stated that the false name, that was a misunderstanding. She stated that the officer she was speaking with had an accent and she was unable to communicate with them properly. And so she wasn't trying to deceive anyone. This was just a misunderstanding, Your Honor. She is 38 years old. She's been in Georgia since 2018. She does have a lot of family here in Georgia. She's not currently working, but she has an interview coming up on Wednesday. So I ask Your Honor to take that into consideration to allow her to possibly get work. I'm just asking that Your Honor take the recommendation of the pretrial bond at level 3.
All right. All right, defendant is going to receive $1,000 surety bond with no additional conditions. Oh, other than that, stay away from that location. Is there anything additional from either the state of defense?
Nothing from defense,
No,
Your
Your
Honor.
Honor.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes the entire calendar,
And
I believe.
Judge, I have a quick question. I had sent
I hope I know. Okay,
I know. I sent an email. There was a defendant, let me pull it up, who we weren't able to file an accusation down this morning because it was still linked to a magistrate court number.
I saw that. I don't think that person was brought either.
Okay, because I sent an email making sure she was brought over. Let me see. I think it's Miss Jones.
Let's see. I don't think that.
Demetria Jones. She was charged with false report of a crime.
Okay.
I might interrupt. Ms. Riser,
Yes.
they both bonded out.
Oh, okay, great. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't miss her or if we didn't need to do something on that.
All right. Well, I think that addresses that. Ms. Bridgewater, will you please review the calendar for me? You're muted, Ms. Bridgewater.
So sorry about that, everyone. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be December the 14th. Position number 1 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. Position 2 is reset further notice as the defendant has been released. Position 3 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 4, SAP calendar with a total $6,000 surety bond. 5 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 6 is reset further notice with a $6,000 SOB through pretrial, I want to say. 7, going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 8, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. 9 is, I'm surprised so fast, is a $7,500 SOB through through the jail, and it will be reset further notice. 10 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 11, reset further notice with a $6,000 SOB through the jail. 12 is going to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 total split bond. 13, SAP calendar with a $1,500 total good bond. 14, reset further notice with a $6,000 SOB through the jail. And 15 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Nothing about the calendar. I just want to know if Your Honor would consider rehearing a case from yesterday. Judge Lal was on. She said that, not rehearing, but reconsidering bond. Judge Lal said that if we were able to find proof of Riverside, that we can bring it up today or email her. And we were able to find that. That was a case that was on yesterday.
Okay, so let me be clear. Judge Law, okay. So there was a Riverside issue yesterday?
And it was not my case, yes.
Okay. And the person received a surety bond yesterday?
Correct, yes.
And well, I guess if there's Riverside, there's no choice. So whatever that bond is will convert to a $10,000 signature bond through the jail. With the conditions that Judge Law has indicated. I am of the opinion that Riverside permits the imposition of conditions. I know some people do not believe that. I have not seen case law to the contrary. So we'll convert the surety, whatever it was, to a $10,000 signature for that person. We're going to have to know the case number and name of the person. So that.
Can I just pull it up real quick?
Yes.
And do you want me to provide you with that proof, maybe email it to you and also CC your state on there?
And please CC Judge Law.
I will. I'll just do that. And so if you think it's all good, then it would be a $10,000 signature bond through the jail, correct?
Yeah.
With the conditions. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And let me ask you this, are you going to submit that today?
Me?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'll do it right when we're done.
Okay. And I also have another question that's not pertaining to this. In reference to the funeral services for Derek on Tuesday, does anybody know whether or not it will be streamed as I am in court? I'm in court and I won't be able to attend.
I've heard that it is going to be streamed.
Okay.
I heard that as well.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you for asking, because it is important that we know.
Yeah.
He is sincerely and extremely missed.
And this is the first day without him, the first Saturday without him. Sorry, I'm getting emotional, but this is really hard. And I just got to be honest with y'all. So,
yeah, this one here cuts deep.
Yeah.
For all of us,
Thank you, Holly.
And it's amazing and incredible how one life